All right, this week, let's talk about autophagy, that term that gets thrown around out there and that many of us had never heard of before this intermittent fasting journey. So, what exactly is autophagy? Well, our bodies naturally have an internal process of cellular renewal, and it's called autophagy. It was discovered accidentally in the 70s by a Belgian scientist, Christian de Duve. I'm assuming I'm saying that correctly. And this was during a study that he was doing on insulin, and he accidentally discovered this. So, what I want you to do is think about autophagy like a dishwasher, cleaning off and cleaning up parts of a plate, right? When you put dishes in the dishwasher, it cleans off all the icky stuff and gets it ready to use again, but it doesn't throw the dishes out with the dishwater, right? So that's what autophagy is. It's your internal system of cleaning off and cleaning up the parts of your body that it wishes to keep and flushing the rest down the drain. Your body finds and cleans out those aging, those damaged, those dysfunctional cells that we all have and that happen to us over time. Autophagy gets its name from the Greek word for self, which stands for auto, and eating, phagy, okay? So fasting, the reason we combine these two is that fasting triggers autophagy and improves the function of all of your cells. Now, as we've evolved, I use that term loosely, we've programmed ourselves to be constantly consuming something into our bodies in the form of food or beverage. And many of us have dramatically slowed down this natural form of body repair. Certain mechanisms are activated in the times of fasting, but because many people consume 3 meals a day with snacks in between and often a meal before bedtime, fasting never occurs and these mechanisms can't be activated. And this is what's triggered a lot of chronic health problems that we've never seen before in human history, but are really plaguing us almost like an epidemic. Those chronic health problems that many of us suffer from or know people who suffer from on a daily basis. Our bodies have evolved over generations to naturally go for periods of time without food. And we're not honoring those adaptations that our own bodies have made. And the consequences are pretty much severe if you look around. The process of autophagy is especially needed when you take into account the onslaught of stressors that our cells are exposed to in modern life. Everything from the toxins all around us, right? Toxins in our environment, in pesticides, in the foods that we eat, in the products that we apply to our body, in the cleaning products that we use in our homes. Not to mention the multitude of processed foods that aren't even really truly real food that we consume on a regular basis. Our bodies, our systems and cells have to figure out what to do with this garbage in and garbage out process. Now, here's the thing that I really want you to pay attention to. Not allowing our body to do this cellular cleanup, this is what causes our skin to age more quickly, to sag, to lose its elasticity, and to develop wrinkles. Our bodies slow down, our energy levels dip, our hormones become unbalanced and function poorly, and our bodies don't fight off those toxins that threaten it on a regular basis. Fasting accelerates the cleanup process and turns back the aging clock. And who doesn't want that? And when you further restrict more unhealthy carbs during your eating window, and you include more healthy fats like grass-fed butter, ghee, coconut oil, olives, extra virgin olive oil, and avocados, just to name a few, autophagy is further accelerated. Just be aware of your portions, okay, on these healthy fats. Don't overdo it, because with too much dietary fat, your body's going to start burning those fats that you take in rather than tapping into your fat stores for fuel. Now, other foods that are great in this process include parsley, celery, many herbs, strawberries, cucumbers, onions, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage and cauliflower, capers, kale, peanuts, grapes, blueberries, organic because they're part of the dirty dozen along with strawberries, cranberries, and cacao. Drinking coffee and herbal tea, eating medicinal mushrooms, supplementing with apple cider vinegar, spicy foods with curcumin, turmeric, and cayenne pepper can also help stimulate autophagy. Now, you might be met with some raised eyebrows from some skeptics when you begin to talk about intermittent fasting and this process to live longer. And up until about a decade ago, almost all the studies on intermittent fasting focused on aging and longevity, not so much weight loss. Most of them concluded that fasting can, in fact, improve your lifespan. According to Dr. Will Cole, one of the first studies on fasting reported that the lifespan of rats increased by as much as 80% when they were put on a fasting plan in which they were given food only every other day. And I'll cite these studies below. But there's substantial evidence that fasting increases longevity for us as well, for us humans. There are many theories to why fasting has such a positive influence on lifespan. One theory derived from research is from the blue zones area. I have the book on the blue zones, such as the one off the island of Okinawa. This isolated population there typically maintains a regimen of intermittent fasting and has extremely low rates of obesity and diabetes. And because they're a blue zone, which means they have extreme longevity, many living well past 100. Another benefit of autophagy is that it's a process that can help a person not have that sagging skin that also happens when they undergo a dramatic weight loss. Because in a slower weight loss through intermittent fasting, the body is naturally using its own process to eat up and burn up wasted, damaged, and no longer needed cells. And this can actually have the effect of shrinking and removing that excess skin and excess pockets of those fat areas that one might have had on their body. Jen Stevens, who wrote Fast, Feast, and Repeat, cites her own personal experience of having lost over 80 pounds and not having any of that problematic excess skin. Dr. Jason Fung, who I started this whole journey with, also claims that he's never had to send a patient to a plastic surgeon for skin removal surgery, even when they lose over 100 pounds. His theory is that autophagy breaks down the old skin tissue and uses it to build new body parts. Now, there's a lot of confusion out there over when does autophagy actually happen? How can we know it's happening? Will we experience increased autophagy when we follow this daily routine of intermittent fasting? Or do we need to extend our fasts to really reap these benefits? Well, it wouldn't make sense for your body to have a cellular cleaning process that required you to fast for days and days to access it, right? So although we don't know exactly when it happens, just know that it is happening. It's like I said, things are happening behind the scenes, even if you don't know it. If you're following a good protocol, your body knows exactly what to do, and it's going to start looking for fuel to feed itself. It's going to start the fat burning process, which increases autophagy. Now, some may say that autophagy doesn't ramp up until someone is 24 to 36 hours into the fasted state, kind of like what we addressed. And that statement causes a lot of confusion for many people, but it leaves out an important part of the story. As your body becomes more metabolically flexible over time, as you continue with this process, you're going to get into this state much more quickly. So in the beginning, as you start this process of intermittent fasting, it may take a little longer for autophagy to begin to kick in. But over time, your body naturally knows what to do. It's going to remember. And once you've depleted some of those glycogen stores that are already in your body and gotten rid of some of that stored fat, it's going to happen much more quickly. I just encourage you to trust the process and know that you're getting there. And you're going to experience all of the benefits of intermittent fasting and autophagy. And as I've covered before, exercise and movement is also known to ramp up an increase in autophagy. You can certainly ask any questions or leave any comments below.